Let's see what Ross has to say. Oh, hey, Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, eating that banana.
Mhm.
Alright, so as I told you, well, I'll start off with you wanted to come on today to discuss Detective Pikachu, right?
Yeah, and also Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
Okay, for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, I think I'm gonna have you mostly talk about it since I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up getting that game because I already have too many Black Friday slash Christmas plans.
Hmm.
But I think we'll start off with Detective Pikachu, which I already talked about in one of my previous videos. I did a trailer reaction, and I was not really a fan of the whole realistic looking Pokemon where they look super furry and had really freaky looking
Mhm.
eyes. I also said that Ryan Reynolds, even though I think he's a capable actor, his acting in the trailer came off as a little too Deadpoolish. Like whenever Detective Pikachu talk, all I could hear was Deadpool. So, Ross, what did you think of the trailer?
I'm actually hyped up for the movie now. I thought it would be like between this and the upcoming live action Sonic movie. I'm more excited for the Detective Pikachu movie. Of course, like I'm also morbidly curious on how it'll really like how Detective Pikachu would entirely look. Like would it follow the game to the like exactly, or would it uh or would it be just kind of like a generic plot between like this guy who doesn't want to be a partner with Pikachu, but then they eventually learn to get along and then they solve the case. And after that, maybe open up for a sequel. I'm not sure. But I honestly think like it's a possibility that the movie might be a major success, despite the quality and maybe the reviews. Like it could be like a critical disaster, but it also could make like twice its budget back or something. That's what I think. And and yeah, like you said, Bobby, that you're not used to the realistic Pokemon. And I'd say like I don't like. Of course, I grew up with the show and the games, so I don't really think about like the texture of the Pokemon. And
Right.
seeing them live action, it looks like I'd say the only stuff that looks weird to me are both Jigglypuff and Mr. Mime.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like Mr. Mime has this sort of uncanny valley going on, but the other Pokemon that's like in the background, like let's see, like that flying electric squirrel Pokemon, I don't know its name.
Was it? I didn't
I
see
don't
it,
know
but
all
was
my
it Emolga?
no, Emolga's like something else. I'm not sure. But no, there's like 700 Pokemon. I can't remember all the names.
Okay.
Um, or like the Pancham or the Squirtle or like yeah, just mainly just like the Pokemon that's not really featured a lot. They look a bit more closer to like the games and the anime than actually like looking fully realistic, like a bit like Pikachu or Psyduck or let's see. Have you seen those have you seen those like those close-up models of like the Charizard and like the Greninja? Like someone went to the development studio that's responsible for the CGI and they have like this and the CGI company have like these realistic looking head models of the Pokemon featured in the
Mm,
movie. So let me look at I need
you're
to
probably
show
gonna
it
have to
to you.
send me images. Any images you send, I'll put in the video. I mean, I basically
See, oh
just
yeah, they
do.
also have like a Snubbull and Greninja. The Greninja looks just weird, as really weird.
Okay. So you just sent me a Nintendo Life article with the models. The thumbnail is of Pikachu himself is all
Yeah,
him and his
and
furriness.
yeah, Pikachu just looks weird in that picture,
Mm.
but in motion he looks fine, to be honest. Psyduck just looks kind of like, I don't know, like it's going to get tough getting used to Psyduck because of those eyes.
Mm.
And so does Greninja. Like I don't like I know Greninja's scarf thing is his tongue, but I never like it's like looking at the realistic texture of it now just looks really weird.
Yeah. Actually, looking at the models themselves, they don't look too bad. Like,
Mhm.
when I'm just looking at myself. Like, I even like some of the ideas, like how they tried to give Charizard, like some. It kind of looks like they gave him like a scaly, like skin texture.
Mhm.
Like,
Made him look more like a lizard or like a dinosaur in a way.
Yeah, so like I totally get what they're going for, and I know it's kind of weird because on one hand, part of me is thinking this is a case where giving like these kind of cartoon characters more realistic features doesn't work for me. I know the
Mhm.
internet is very split at the time of recording. Some people really like the character designs in Detective Pikachu. I think my sister even said that she was down with it, and somebody was like, "Oh, I want a plushie of Detective Pikachu," and of course the second half of the internet is like, especially with Mr. Mime. But yeah, but I don't know. Somehow, when I'm looking at the character models, they don't look too bad. I'm not sure what it is about when I see them in the trailer, where it's just like, but
I don't know, it's look fully fine to me. Otherwise, it's
well,
like yeah, like I also expect like if this was going to be a major disaster,
which
or like a lot of people don't like it, then I don't know. The YouTube likes and like the views just doesn't seem split. In fact, I've seen like a lot of people. Yeah, of course. I've seen like several comments about like yeah, just the Mr. Mime standing out as just looking well weird or off.
I'll have oh, there we go. Yeah, on the one, I think it's not that people like really like hate the trailer. I think it's just more like me personally. Even though I'm kind of on the trailer, like I wouldn't be one to click that dislike button. Like for me, I only click dislike when I absolutely hate the trailer of the movie. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
considering the other times where I get really angry in trailer reactions, like with the Teen Titans Go movie, which I heard was decent, and
Yeah.
Illumination's recent Grinch movie, those are the two kinds of trailers that really get under my skin and make me lose my shit. But the Detective Pikachu, when it's mad, I don't even like think about clicking the like or dislike
I'd
button.
say yeah. Sometimes the quality, like the reaction to the trailer, doesn't isn't not indicative of like the reaction to the movie itself in a way.
Yeah, no,
Kind of like
absolutely.
Suicide Squad, for example. Suicide Squad's trailer like received a lot of likes, a lot of views, but then the movie came out and it ended up being like one of the worst DC movies, or yeah, the DC
Yeah.
Cinematic Universe movies.
hmm
Mm.
Well, I can't speak on that. I know my friend Steven, who often does movie videos with me, really didn't like Suicide Squad,
Mm.
but that's a conversation I would leave to
But
other
but yeah,
people.
for Detective Pikachu, of course, like I have a feeling that it's gonna make a lot of money in the box office, especially
Yeah,
like Pokemon is a huge name. Like if a lot of people like played Pokemon Go when it first came out, like the entire world was at peace for like for just a week.
yeah.
That time, then of course Detective Pikachu is gonna make like a lot of like really a lot of money, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I'll definitely give. I mean, even I'm like thinking about seeing the movie for myself. I mean, it's kind of like what you said earlier about a trailer reaction isn't indicative of my thoughts on the movie, and that's definitely true. You know, a trailer, and the trailer only represents what the advertisers want to show, not necessarily the entire film in itself.
Yeah.
I'm considering like checking out Detective Pikachu, and yeah, like you said, between Pokemon Go's success. Like Pokemon, it's even one of those gaming franchises where even people who don't play or don't know too much about video games, like they instantly know, the face of Pikachu. I remember
Mhm.
like my parents know I used to really, really like Piplup because he was like my favorite starter Pokemon in Pokemon Pearl. So yeah, in terms of success, I do think that Detective Pikachu, especially in these kind of subgenre of video game movies, it definitely has a really good chance of success. I mean, the only other video game movie I could think of right now that like when I instantly think of I could see success is Illumination trying to make a Mario movie, which I'm not saying that's going to be good, but I mean, I recently had a commenter who really, really hates the founder of Illumination and is saying he's going to ruin Mario, but until the movie comes out, we don't really know for sure.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, it's pretty hard to justify early impressions until you actually see the movie for yourself.
Hmm.
Sometimes early impressions end up being right, but most of the times it ends up being wrong, pretty
Hmm.
much.
Yeah.
And and yeah, in the case of Detective Pikachu, yeah, like I said, I am morbidly curious about it. Same as the Sonic movie. Is like live action video games. I'm really like kind of reluctant on, but even then, it's like for a CG movie. If Detective Pikachu was a CG movie, um, do you think that would have gone over well,
If
or
it
would it
was
still like
this,
quality be the same? Like a CG movie, similarly to like the Pixar movies or like Toy Story, like yeah, of course Mario once received a live action treatment, and
mm,
yeah, I know, and and now it's going to receive the CG only treatment with Detective Pikachu. Um, do you think it would have been better off as like a live action or as like a just CG cartoon?
I think for me, it's honestly more of a preference rather than, it's something that, Warner's and Legendary had to do where, oh, they made it CG. I mean, that's something that I would personally prefer, but it's not like something where I'm like begging and asking, the studios, hey, please make it a CG movie. I mean, obviously they can't do that now since the movie's coming out in like a year, but
Mm.
again, I think that's just more personal preference since that's how I always imagined Pokemon growing up. I mean, you watched the show and some of the movies too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
like
course. Like there's like always there's an abundance of like the Ash Ketchum movies
mhm.
and I think some specials. And yeah, it's like they really fast tracked the Detective Pikachu movie, right? Like just when the game was announced. And like I think like a month or 2 months later, it's just like they announced the movie too, before the game was even out in Japan, which was like insane to me, but it also makes sense because yeah, Pokemon is a huge movie. Oh, Pokemon is like a huge game series,
Mhm.
and I am pretty sure that like Hollywood pitched like a lot of ideas to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company for like a live action movie based on Ash Ketchum's adventures. But thankfully that uh like we didn't get that treatment for Ash Ketchum because it's like how do you condense an Ash Ketchum adventure into to a live action movie? You just can't.
No, the only
It's
way
like
I yeah, the only way I could picture an Ash Ketchum movie being successful is if they remade like they turned maybe the first several episodes of the first Pokemon season. You know, the one where he gets started and he meets Pikachu, because I think
Yeah.
that would like make financial sense in terms of one, it's a classic story everybody's familiar with, and two, I don't know why I make weird finger gestures whenever I have to, you know, go one, two, three, four. But anyway, but the other thing too is it's a good introduction um, for like audiences who have never, you know, seen or heard of Pikachu before. You know, it explains this is how he meets
Mhm.
Pikachu. These are the different in kinds of Pokemon. I mean, maybe they could make some sequels that follow it, but it's definitely
I don't know. It's
really hard.
yeah, the thing is like the anime movies work where well it's just like a single it's like a long episode of a Pokemon show.
Yeah.
Well, Ash, of course, like he meets a legendary Pokemon, the obligatory one Pokemon speaking human language, and it's like a special setting location that's like way too over budgeted if it was in the show itself. And yeah, it's like if they make a movie on Ash, they would definitely have to like of course show Pikachu and then maybe Ash like training Pikachu to go to the Pokemon Championships and then losing. And yeah, it's like it would have to be like constructed as like a sports film or like a Rocky type of film in a way,
Yeah, in
which
a
would be
sense.
baffling
Hmm.
because like I don't know, to me the po Ash's adventures is not about like the it's not about like the battles to me, it's more about the journey too.
Yeah.
And yeah, thankfully with Detective Pikachu, it's um they managed to like shift that focus away and just focus on like another like just another part in that Pokemon world was was like the whole crime kind of drama and a sense of adventure. I don't know, I haven't played the game.
Yeah, I've only played the demo, but going back to what you said about the anime movies, which I've only seen one, and it was the Rise of Darkrai, which that one I actually kind of like. But in the case of those movies, I think they work for the audience that they're going after. Like, I think those movies are more meant for people who at least have, you know, a couple of ounces of an experience with the Pokemon, the TV show to begin with. So I think that's why those movies are able to work. And yeah, I definitely remember like one of the Pokemon movie where Pikachu talk. I even saw there was like footage of a movie theater where everyone was going, "What the fuck?" And yeah, so in the case of the anime movies, I think that's why it works. But if they were to take, like, if they just made a Pokemon movie about Ash that didn't start from the beginning and it was just, you know, stuck in the middle of them, I think it would have a harder time, especially getting to newer audiences.
Yeah, and even then, like even after Detective Pikachu, like what's next? To be honest, because there isn't a sequel to the Detective Pikachu game yet. And also it's like if they make another movie, like not focusing on Detective Pikachu, but like just on some other Pokemon, how are you gonna like fit fit it that well for the audience who are more ingrained with the Pikachu popularity than any other Pokemon? Like what are you gonna do? Maybe make it like a like Officer Eevee or something? Or I don't know.
Or is it gonna? Oh, you just
It's
triggered
it's
the
it's
fan fiction
it's
writer in me.
it's like the complete it's like the same plot as Detective Pikachu, but focusing on yeah, just Eevee who's in the police.
Hmm.
And Eevee is
Or
voiced by I don't know, maybe Danny DeVito. Uh, oh, speaking of which, Bobby, you
yeah,
said that like yeah, you couldn't get used to Detective Pikachu's voice because of the Ryan Reynolds voice, pretty
which
much.
yeah, which I'm not saying that just because he played Deadpool, it doesn't mean he could play another character. I even did another, and I don't mean to keep plugging in my different trailer reactions, but I did another trailer reaction for Toy Story 4. Where did you see the teaser where Key and Peele's characters popped up?
Yeah, that trailer feels like a Key and Peele skit. Have you seen the Key and Peele skit where like the two hotel concierges or valets and they talk about like movie trailers in front of a hotel?
I
Yeah, I
I
remember
saw it once, I think.
yeah, and they also like did like another like the same skit but for promoting a Liam Neeson movie called Non-Stop.
Uh huh. Yeah, that
And
was the
now
one my sister
again,
showed me, but I only saw that one once.
yeah. And now again, it's like they do the same thing for Toy Story 4.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's like it's hard to because it's like due to the mannerisms and like the way of like style and comedy.
Hmm.
It feels like yeah, very it feels very recognizable pretty much.
Hmm.
Like I don't it's like there's like certain Hollywood actors who have like certain styles in acting that they even use in like in voice acting, which it just seems like it takes me a bit out of it, you know?
Yeah.
It takes me like yeah, like oh, is that guy acting? I was like, oh man, I wish I shouldn't have thought that because yeah, it just takes me out. Like I want to get lost in that sensation in that movie feeling. But if I'm hearing like Ryan, if I'm hearing yeah Ryan Reynolds like yelling and whatnot, like I'm pretty sure the kids don't care if it's Ryan Reynolds because I'm pretty sure not every kid has seen Deadpool
Yeah.
or that Monty Python movie or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I
Um,
forgot. I know my.
no, Monty Python, National Lampoon's Van Wilder. But yeah, it's like I wouldn't care, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the 25-year-old children would care about hearing Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I brought up the Toy Story 4 teaser just to say that's a perfect example of even though it was Key and Peele, I still got characters out of them. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is about their acting, but it just, like they were obviously making fun of, oh, they're making another Toy Story, and, look, I'm Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and your mom. And it was just something about how they were able to blend it. I was able to get into characters. Like, I didn't watch that trailer saying, it's just Key and Peele, whatever. Or
Hmm.
but yeah, but in the case of Detective Pikachu, I think because Detective Pikachu's lines, like, I mean, obviously they weren't like straight ripped out of Deadpool, where he was cursing and making like cock jokes and jokes about out Wolverine and that kind of a thing. But there's something about the way he talks and how. A lot of his dialogue were kind of like jabs at at Pokemon, where he's like, "Oh, everybody just hears me as Pika Pika Pika," and as soon as I heard that, I was like, they're really taking advantage of how Ryan Reynolds is the guy who plays Deadpool. And I don't I'm not really sure. I don't want to say it's Reynolds' own fault for saying lines that sound more Deadpoolish than Pokemon-ish. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of more of a thing with the people making this movie of we have to capitalize on Ryan Reynolds and yeah, I mean we can't make him swear and make all these like inappropriate jokes for kids since this isn't Deadpool, but this is what he's known for and this is what we have to go after, which I kind of feels head scratching. I really would have like I think Reynolds could have played Detective Pikachu as this sort of tough cop or this tough cop or this smooth sounding guy. It's like you don't need like you already have two really iconic things with this movie to go with. You have the Pokemon name, you have the Detective Pikachu, and third one you have Ryan Reynolds. I mean, as strange as that combination sounds, you already have a lot of marketable stuff behind it. And I
Yeah.
think that's why when you go on the internet, I mean, not to bring up the internet for the hundredth time, but you might have seen there was a post saying, it's Deadpool and the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah. And and it also is like it's more so than recognizing Ryan Reynolds' voice. It's also like yeah, like also mentioned before was the Key and Peele stuff. Is the way that he talks and how it's like it doesn't really, in my opinion, doesn't really fit the Detective Pikachu character.
Yeah.
Um, Unless they changed it a lot from the game,
Hmm.
where they make him like a bit more wacky or a bit more like like a less gruff detective. Like other actors considered for the role were Danny DeVito, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, and Hugh Jackman. And personally, I think either Danny DeVito or Hugh Jackman would have been perfect. But definitely not The Rock or Mark Wahlberg. Because it's just mainly do like the voice pretty much. Like the voice has to fit the character, and I think like Ryan Reynolds is his voice is like it sounds a bit too like a tiny bit wacky and also like inherently like a sense of like cool wackiness in a way. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind
Like
of
you've
a
seen
more
Deadpool.
smooth, cynical kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
voice. I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, I don't expect cynical when it comes to Detective Pikachu. And yeah, as for those notes, I don't know if they were considered, but I know they were like names getting tossed around. Like, I know
Mhm.
people were begging and begging, please put Danny DeVito as Detective Pikachu. And I also thought, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
jokes aside, I think he could have pulled it off. But of course, when DeVito was asked about it, he said, "What the fuck is a Pikachu?"
mhm.
So yeah, so unfortunately, that's what killed the possibility of DeVito getting the role. It's like oh, he doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound like he's particularly interested in getting the part. Unfortunately.
Mhm. Yeah, and yeah, a lot of people champion for Danny DeVito primarily because of his voice and
Hmm.
how well it fits with how well it fits like with the reveal trailer of Detective Pikachu, the game,
Yeah.
where it's like yeah, the Japanese voice just sounds like really gruff,
Hmm.
and people want to like the English dub to also be voiced by Danny DeVito, or at least have the movie be voiced by Danny DeVito. But yeah, I like to think that he was actually asked, but he just like declined for some reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, like because he was not allowed to talk about it, possibly, in case it was actually confirmed, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of ambiguous to me because I guess it's technically possible that maybe Nintendo and Warner Brothers and Legendary went up to Dan DeVito and said hey, because I think of it as a really big fan request. Like it was even something that I was thinking, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. I mean, I can't really picture the three of them going to DeVito saying, all the Pokemon fans and watch you in wait, did they want the veto for the game or the movie? Do you remember?
I think both because because yeah, when the game was still out, like when the game was revealed for Japan, there wasn't like an English release date yet. And people like, of course, people knew like the game was coming out to like the West, so of course people wanted, yeah, Danny DeVito to voice Pikachu in like the game. And of course,
Yeah,
when the movie was announced, yeah, it shifted to that.
yes, it was actually for the game in particular, according to who Polygon of all places. But it's basically the idea. But I'm sure when the movie was getting tossed around, because I was even thinking it before Ryan Reynolds was getting called up that maybe Danny DeVito will say hey, I really really want to do this.
Maybe they chose Ryan Reynolds because of his Deadpool fame, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's
Like
the
of course,
big
like a lot
reason.
of nerds, yeah, they watch Deadpool. So when they see Ryan Reynolds in this, they're like, "Oh, Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu? Okay, might as well buy a ticket." And because I'm curious how well this would work.
Yeah. I think I
And
even made a video talking about the idea of Ryan Reynolds being Detective Pikachu. Who, and at the time, I just didn't expect, like, I was expecting, like, a smooth talker that was funny, not somebody who that sounds a lot like Deadpool. And again, for the people watching, I mean, I swear this will be my last video plug, but that was basically what I was expecting. It's like if when Shrek, I mean, well, granted, I was really, really young when Shrek came out. I was like 5 years old. But that's like if, when Shrek was coming out and, you hear Mike Myers is going to play it, and your instant thought is it just going to be Austin Powers as an ogre or something like that?
Or what about Eddie Murphy as a donkey? Like, like I grew up watching Eddie Murphy movies and was like, yeah, both Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy together. Like in a way, Mike Myers actually did try to like when I first saw the movie. Like, of course, I saw Austin Powers before those movies. So when I saw Shrek, like I don't really think about like Mike Myers. But for Donkey, of course, I think of of Eddie Murphy because of the whole mannerisms and the voice.
Mm-hmm.
But with like Mike Myers, it feels like he actually does try acting. He actually does like try like changing up his normal tone of voice
Mm-hmm.
compared to like because of course in Austin Powers, Mike Myers plays like a bunch of different characters such as Doctor
Yes,
Evil
of
and Fat
course.
Bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So of course, and with Ryan Reynolds, it's like he plays one character. He plays like it feels like he's just playing himself, and there's just like a documentary film crew following wherever he goes, pretty
Yeesh.
much. He's like he's a bit one note in a way, even though he's been in drama and comedy movies. He's still like yeah, one note. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but I'd like to think that Reynolds
Yeah.
could have played Detective
Yeah.
Pikachu a bit better because I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it
And
past him.
yeah, and he did make a good decision on being in Detective Pikachu because of course that's like a guaranteed like maybe make him even more famous than usual
Yeah.
because of the movie itself. Um like between this and Deadpool, he's gonna be like the king of nerds in a way.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he
Just
definitely has that
yeah.
going for him. I mean, I guess the silver lining to all this, I guess you could say Detective Pikachu would be like the Deadpool for kids in a sense, like in
Mhm.
terms of the humor. I mean, still a very different kind of movie, but you know what I'm saying. And for all those kids who are like, "Oh, Deadpool seems so cool," but their parents are like, no, we're not taking you to see Deadpool until you're
Mhm.
older." And now he's now playing this much more family friendly kind of a character.
Are families interested in Ryan Reynolds or are they just interested in like Deadpool and Pikachu?
If
Because
it
like I said before, like like the only people who care about Ryan Reynolds as like Deadpool, I
mhm.
feel are like are either the teenagers to like of course to adults who may have seen like Deadpool and maybe care a lot about Ryan Reynolds. And yeah, and maybe like parents too, they'll be like, oh, Ryan Reynolds is this. I know his name. I might as well take my kid to see this movie because he's in it. Because like it's no surprise that like of course a lot of famous Hollywood actors are like they're in like in like voice acting in cartoon movies. Some of them don't even try and can just like easily hear the voice. Some of them do try. Ryan Reynolds doesn't feels like doesn't really try, but it still works to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe when the movie comes out, it's the kind of thing where when you watch the movie as it goes on, maybe our minds could, wrap up into, okay, it is Detective Pikachu
Yeah.
talking at all. But
Mhm.
that's up to that's going to be dependent on the movie itself. So yeah.
Yeah, and with Detective Pikachu, yeah, like just to conclude, and just to reiterate, yeah, I am very morbidly curious about the movie.
Hmm.
It could be a major success, it could be a major disappointment, but it is guaranteed to make a lot of money. And I'm
Yeah,
not sure, yeah, and I'm not sure it's like if they're gonna end the movie with a sequel hook, which it's a possibility that they might
it's
because
tempting. It's
yeah,
tempting.
because the because maybe Hollywood producers they know that like the movie's gonna make a lot of money. It's guaranteed. So
Hmm.
might as well hook people with the sequel. Even even if the movie ends up crappy, they might still try to make a
Yeah.
sequel.
Hmm.
Unless Nintendo they're like no. And like of course the movie's coming out next year,
Hmm.
which of course is like Pokemon they're really good at raising like at keeping the hype level or like the interest level of the series to like to like a sort of a minimum in a way.
Hmm.
Like a couple years ago we got Pokemon Go, then the year after that I think we got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I think. And
Something
then
like
this year
that.
yeah. And then this year we got this game.
Yeah, it's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah. And now next year we're gonna get the mainline Pokemon game and Detective Pikachu.
Right.
So
So 2019 may even be like a year of Pokemon. It's kind of like when Nintendo had the year of Luigi, if you remember
mm,
that.
yeah, just releasing just one Luigi game and call it a day.
Oh.
But anyways, so yeah, of course like now we segue into Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which of course is a game that are you even interested in buying, Bobby? Or just like you're just kind of curious or you have no interest at all?
It's more of a game I have out of curiosity. First of all, like I'm already trying to think what games do I really want to get for Christmas. I mean, obviously Smash Ultimate is one of them, but I'm suspecting a certain person who's going to watch this video, oh, that's related to me might get it for Christmas because when I got Smash Wii U and Super Smash Bros. Brawl, those were, Christmas gifts I got from the exact same person who's probably going to watch this video that's related to me. So, and then there's also things like I'm thinking of picking up games like this is just more of a wish list rather than concrete plans. Like I'm thinking of getting like Diablo 3 for Switch, or if I can't get that, maybe I'll get God of War for PS4, or if I can't get that, maybe I'll get Spider-Man for PS4. Like I have this like laundry list of like other games that I'm frankly more interested in, but I'd still like to hear your thoughts. I mean, I don't really know too much about the game. I heard people said it's basically like an easy version of Pokemon Go, but is that true or is that just
Yeah,
ignorance?
it's a bit more streamlined compared to the mainline games. Primarily due due to the Pokemon Go mechanics
Mm-hmm.
and um and it's also like the battles are mainly focused on like the trainers
Mm-hmm.
than anyone else. Like it is pretty much like essentially a kind of a remake or like a modernized remake of the Pokemon like blue, green, red, and yellow. Though it's more closer to like a bit more to Pokemon Yellow in a way.
Really?
Um, because of like Pikachu and your Pikachu following you
Mm-hmm.
too, and the and Team Rocket like Jesse and James in the game.
Wait,
And yeah, yeah,
wait, they show up like like Jesse and James?
yeah, they're in the trailer too, so it's not a spoiler.
Hmm. Okay.
And yeah, other characters like from the past, like there's also red, blue, and green that also show up in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Ash, Gary Oak, and the green girl. I don't know. She's like from the game. Um, and I've been playing it like yeah. I just got the game yesterday, but I've been playing it a lot. I just beaten Misty so far, and
Okay.
I looked at like some of the spoilers on the internet, and the game is actually pretty fine for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like an appetizer course coming up to the mainline games in a
I mean,
way.
that's what I'm getting the feeling from.
Yeah, because like someone brought this up on Reddit, uh like just about the game and like and the response to like all the criticism about like how it's too easy for people. And the person said like, um, just as a summary, he said that it's mainly for people who don't play too much games.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the just trying to teach someone how to play like Mario Kart is like alien to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And even if that person's like an adult who has like a PhD, it's like they don't want to spend like an hour trying to learn like all the mechanics of Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same with Pokemon. They don't want to like learn like too much of the mechanics of Pokemon. They just want to know like just the basics. So of course like since Pokemon Go is huge, and since like a lot of people play Pokemon Go, of course like it's it's all natural when like they play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or slash Eevee. And see what say
Is it
yeah it's
so for this game? Is it like the other Pokemon games where you attack other Pokemon?
no oh yeah just for that one it's also yeah it's the Pokemon of course they do show up in the tall grass on caves or like on in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not like the mainline games where like you have just to walk around in the grass and then you get like a random encounter.
Mm-hmm.
This one like the Pokemon actually do show up, which I feel like is like the best kind of addition to the series ever
Mm-hmm.
because then no one would have to like encounter a Zubat every single 3 steps in Mount Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, yeah, it's easier, but I say it's like the best kind of like addition to the series. But for the Pokemon Go catch mechanics, I've been primarily been using this Pokeball controller for
Mm-hmm.
it, and to be honest with you, it is kind of finicky in a way. Like like so many Pokemon in the game, they don't move, but
Mm-hmm.
there's other Pokemon in the game that does, like Jigglypuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I think flying types too. Um, will like they move like across just the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I tried to throw the ball at them, but it's like it just doesn't like it's not 100% accurate in a way. Like I don't know if it's the ball, I don't know if it's me, but I'm
Or
feeling it's the ball itself. Yeah.
I don't know,
Or
maybe it's just the challenge in itself is to, just get, especially the moving Pokemon. Like
yeah.
maybe that's what
Yeah,
the
I
challenge.
also seen like this IGN or GameSpot review. They said the same thing too. It's like they try even using a Joy-Con. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like difficult to do it, but they said like handheld playing the Nintendo Switch on handheld is the best since you can use a gyroscope
Mm-hmm.
or you're pretty much forced to use a gyroscope to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've seen some people they complain like they can't use the Nintendo Pro controller to play the game.
Which that sounds
So
really
it's
strange because
mainly
you could
like
just flip the Nintendo Switch Pro controller since that has a gyro built in.
yeah, but I think it's like yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of weird in a way.
Yeah.
It's Game Freak. It's like I don't know what to how they justify the creative decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to make people feel like they're a Pokemon trainer in a
I
way.
yeah, or it could be that or are they just thinking that oh the Switch Pro controller is another accessory people have to buy,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
that's
and
kind of a
I
weak sauce justification too because a lot of Switch games you could play on Joy Cons you could use the Pro controller. Like I'm thinking Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Doom. All three of those games you could play with either the Joy Cons or the Pro controller.
yeah, but for Pokemon it kind of makes a bit more sense because yeah, like I said, to make the player feel like they're a Pokemon trainer. Like
Yeah.
it's it's kind of like what I said before was that person in the example. He also said like a lot of people just mainly play Wii Sports. Like they just buy the Wii, then they never buy any other game. They just play Wii Sports
Mm-hmm.
because they know what to do. They know like the motions to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
bowling, okay, you bowl this way, or baseball, you just swing like
Yeah,
this
swing a
with the
tennis racket.
remote.
Poof.
Yeah, and with Pokemon, it's it's an easy translation. You just throw the ball at a Pokemon, and that's it.
Mm,
And you just gotta like time it correctly. With the
right.
trainer battles, it's a bit more challenging maybe for new players because like maybe they don't even know the weaknesses of the Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
like all like the different types and whatnot. But it's still like it is still like a good entry for them, and I'd say it's a bit, and it's also like fan servicey to like the people who grew up with Pokemon too, like people who play like Pokemon Red, like the first game pretty much.
Yeah, so it works both ways.
Yeah, and beyond that fan service, like with the characters showing up and like of course remaking the game, like remaking Kanto region again for the third time, I think. I think it's the third time. Like of course there was Fire Red and Leaf Green, and now there's this game. And like I've seen people say that they expected a lot more from this game. Like like just like not just the remake of the first Pokemon game, but actually like include a lot more stuff beyond like more stuff to do the core gameplay rather than just like simple additions like the Pokemon Go Park and the Alolan forms. Like people would just want to like yeah, like something a bit more mainline, pretty much. Like of course you're gonna expect from mainline games just like every single Pokemon in the mainline game.
Mm-hmm.
And also like I guess like various other gimmicks, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but if they
But
put in a lot more features, then that kind of
yeah.
defeats the purpose of a mainline Pokemon game.
Yeah. And I'd say like there's some stuff from Pokemon Let's Go that I want in the mainline game. Primarily the Pokemon showing up in like in the wilderness areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like rather than just being like random encounters within like the grass and caves and whatnot.
I
And I'd
kind
say
of I
no, go on.
kind of am expecting they're just gonna keep it in the bushes because, like, I've played a couple Pokemon games myself, and even though, yeah, it's kind of one of those JRPG quirks of you bump into enemies that you can't, like, they're kind of hiding, and it's you're walking around, and then
Mhm.
time to fight. I'm not really sure. Like, even with what the Switch can do, I still think they're gonna keep it to the conventional. You'll just run into enemies, out of random. But continue.
Yeah. I mean, if it does, I was like, I want to be surprised, but I'll also be disappointed because I think it is a really good feature to have in a case if you just want to move, if you don't want to like waste your time or waste your money buying Repel all the time, then it's yeah, you just easily just like avoid the Pokemon, or if you want to, or if you have to level up your party, then yeah, you can just have to fight them or capture them. And I'd say oh yeah, it reminds me of which I've seen on the Pokemon Reddit that a lot of people have been encountering shiny Pokemon in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like way more than usual in the mainline games too. And just last night I got a shiny Jigglypuff. It's like I've been playing this series for like over 20 years, and I finally got my first shiny Pokemon that isn't a red Gyarados. And there's a damn shiny Jigglypuff that
Mm-hmm.
only has like different cataracts or different eye colors, and that's it. And I'm like, hmm. I'm like, okay, I'll take that, I guess.
Yeah.
But, and yeah, it's like as of course they show up too, like they even have like this shiny effect, which of course is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I say compared to mainline games, it's like yeah, it's made easier for everyone, but it's still nice to have. And between that, what other addition? Of course, I don't think the Pokemon capture mechanic from Let's Go would be present in, of course, the mainline game. Well, oh, I hope not. Though, I'm also suspecting like it could be an option, maybe
Maybe
for
an
like maybe
option.
new players. Yeah, and hmm, and maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna have like the Pokemon Go connectivity too, because of course it's like a really big game, Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, like between Pokemon Let's Go and the mainline game, maybe people want to connect the app to the Switch, so they can like transfer the Pokemon. Though I'm not entirely sure how to go like work in maybe like transferring Pokemon from the 3DS to the Switch would work.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that's gonna work. Like, I could see, technically speaking, the whole transferring Pokemon from Pokemon Go to the mainline Pokemon Switch game, but isn't that gonna be highly dependent on how the world of the next Pokemon on
I
game
mean,
works?
I wouldn't be surprised if Pokemon Go eventually updates with like something more than just Meltan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could update with like another like Pokemon or a couple more from like from the upcoming mainline game, just to like promote that game. And but maybe it's also I'd say right now, maybe like if someone wants to like try to collect them all
Mm-hmm.
for like the mainline game, then they could like easily do it now because of like because maybe it'd be easier to like capture the new mainline game Pokemon in that title. Oh my God, I need water.
Yeah,
Hmm,
because I'm technically thinking it
what
could
was it?
work, technically speaking, but
Yeah,
then again, they would have to add, because I'm assuming the next Pokemon game, the mainline game for Switch, is going to take place in a new region, and there's
yeah,
probably going
and
to
it's
be new
like
Pokemon.
entirely new
So,
Pokemon.
yeah, they would have to add those Pokemon into Pokemon Go, which isn't, an impossibility. It's just I don't really know if Nintendo, would
Yeah,
want to do that.
maybe they'll do like maybe a legendary Pokemon or like just a few new Pokemon, but not like but maybe the Pokemon Go company is more focused um on just like doing the next region rather than all the other regions or like the upcoming region, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, for Pokemon Let's Go, what was this talk about? Was it I'd say so Pokemon Let's Go is like it's not something really on your Christmas wish list, pretty much, but you're kind of curious on just playing it.
morbid curiosity because I've been a casual Pokemon fan. I would almost say lifelong because I definitely remember watching the show when I was a really, really young kid. Like I remember when I was like 5, 6 years old, I would casually watch the show. I used to have like these Pikachu socks. Like it was probably one of the first Nintendo franchises I became acquainted with before. Like I didn't even know it was part of the Nintendo universe when I was that young. When I saw like the first time I saw Super Smash Brothers Melee at my cousin's house, I was like, "Oh, Pikachu! I know who he is. He's from that TV show."
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I don't really think about that either. About how pretty much owns Pokemon in a way, but so pretty much like if you had the money or like the interest, would you pick up this game or would you rather wait for the mainline game?
Yeah, I think if it was between Pokemon Let's Go and the mainline game, I know me and my says are gonna be much more interested in the mainline game because, like I said, my wish list already is really, really stacked up to begin with. If so, I'm not sure where the Pokemon Let's Go games would fit. If it's the kind of game where you or another one of my other friends would like, hey, check this out. Because, like, I know do have a group of fans who are really into the world of Nintendo, and I think they'd also be interested in Pokemon. Like, if they let me try it out, I'd be up for it. But as for me, I'm not really sure if I'd pick it up myself.
Okay. I'm running out of saliva now from I'm talking too much.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay,
But
yeah. So yeah, just to conclude, um, for me, like yeah, I really enjoyed the game despite the controls
mm-hmm,
and also like maybe some of the more easier mechanics.
mm-hmm.
But it's also like yeah, of course, like I said before, it's an appetizer to the mainline game. It's not something that's like to be taken with like I don't know how to say it. It's something for the casual fans. It's more tailored to them, and for the hardcore audience,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm pretty sure is a bunch of like 20, yeah, like I said, 25-year-old children who grew up with this game and are more used to like they're the type of people who said, back in my day, I actually had to fight the Pokemon and fight like a lot of the Zubats before fighting Gary Oak. Yeah, and yeah, I've seen like a lot of people they complain like the games are getting too easy now, which I think is like, is that really too much of a problem? Making the games a bit easier?
Yeah, well, that's just part of them trying to appeal to newer gamers, younger gamers, people who have maybe
Yeah,
it's but even if they're older, they may have heard of Pokemon throughout their lives, and but they never like actually bought the games, and now they're
yeah,
getting
and the
into
people
it.
who like who grew up playing the games more they're used to like that sort of like treatment on getting their asses kicked.
Yeah. I mean, the
And
way it works in my family is like my sis is very good with the Pokemon games. Me personally, like the other thing too is a lot of the strategy I think could be kind of intimidating. Like even a person myself, who's very casual when it comes to Pokemon. So I think that's what they're trying to do in terms of making the
mhm,
games easier. Because I do remember playing Pokemon on Pearl and Leaf Green. Part of my like rage when I did get defeated by gym leaders was me being a kid. But yeah, I see what they're going
mhm,
for.
yeah, and yeah, with Pokemon Let's Go, I say it's still fine if you're a Pokemon fan,
Mm-hmm.
even if you grew up with the series, unless if you're like yeah the type of person who enjoys being a masochist or something, or just used to like the mainline stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
thankfully Nintendo did announce that the mainline game is still coming.
Yeah.
If they just announced Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, it
Yeah,
would
that
probably
would
still
be
have like it'll be like the Diablo Immortal announcement.
exactly because it
Which
just like well maybe not as disastrous,
you
but
got
it would be more like what happened with Metroid Federation Force because everyone wants wants another mainline Metroid game, and it's like we got it, but
Metroid
it's called
Prime. Yeah.
Metroid Federation Force. I remember when I saw that, I was like, wow. And of course, the rest of the internet like hated Federation Force. Maybe not to the degree of Diablo Immortal, but I still remember it was
I'd
largely
I'd
disliked.
say it's primarily because of like the audience between mobile and console and PC is like very disconnected. With my mobile audience, they're more used to like the business strategies and like the creative decisions on of a mobile game compared to like console and PC in
Hmm.
a way. So of course like when they announced so with Pokemon Let's Go, like of course the if Jesus announced that game and not the mainline game, yeah, they would definitely piss off a lot of the hardcore audience who grew up with the franchise. But
Yeah.
thankfully, yeah, well, Nintendo did announce like a mainline game that's coming next year, which I'm surprised is coming next year. I thought it would be it's, actually, yeah, it does give them enough time to like come up with ideas for like the rest of Pokemon, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean it's about
Especially
time.
like yeah, like the thing is the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is kind of like reminiscent of Black and White 2. Pokemon Black, Pokemon White,
Mm-hmm.
because like it gives maybe the company just to recycle the region, maybe add in like little new pieces here and there.
Mm-hmm.
For yeah, and man, I hope for the mainline game you get to travel to Kanto, kind of like a Pokemon what's it? Silver and Gold, where in Johto you get to travel to Kanto after you beat the Elite Four.
Huh.
Yeah. Wait, I think it was that game. It was a sequel to the Pokemon Red and Blue. Um, but I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah,
Hmm.
probably not. Especially if,
Yeah.
we don't
Well, I
know
hope so.
where this mainline game is going to take place, but I wouldn't be
Yeah, just
surprised, especially if this new place is going to have a lot of the
it
Kanto
is it
region
is
Pokemon
obviously a new
already.
region.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is obviously a new region, but I do suspect that like I really do suspect that it's gonna have like I do know it's gonna have the same aesthetic as the same aesthetic and same graphics as Pokemon Let's Go. And Pokemon Let's Go just looks really good for like a Nintendo Switch game too. Maybe the next mainline game is gonna look even better
I'm pretty
because of course
sure.
yeah, because Let's Go is really constrained to Kanto and they have
Mm-hmm.
to like and you don't really take too much creative liberties with the was like changing the towns too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's still like kind of small. Like Kanto is still kind of like it feels small in a way compared to like how diverse or like how big the like towns and cities look like in Sun and Moon. Like Honolulu, though like that city area in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I don't know its name.
Yeah, but I get what you
So
mean. I know that the cities and the Pokemon games
so
just get
yeah,
bigger and bigger and more creative as the games went
so
on.
yeah, I expect the mainline game to be like at least way larger than Pokemon Let's Go. Well,
Yeah.
I hope it's larger. They have like years to work on the game compared to Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
so
yeah,
yeah
it's definitely going to be a much larger game in terms of scale and strategy.
yeah. After I'm done like with the appetizer course, I just can't wait for the main course anytime soon.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'm hoping that uh Detective Pikachu will be the dessert, or it'll be like just another appetizer to tide me over until then, pretty much.
I can't put my finger on what it is, but I think that's just part of the, huge, marketing strategy. Like, next year we're going to get a Pokemon movie, like the Detective Pikachu movie,
Yeah,
and
it
then we're
feels
going to
like
get the
an
game,
yeah, it
possibly.
feels a bit like a Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed in a way, like an annual franchise. But thankfully, in a way, they actually don't like do necessarily the same type of core gameplay every single sort of like Pokemon installment in a way. Like yeah, this year we got the Pokemon Let's Go. Next year we're gonna get the mainline game and Detective Pikachu. Last year, I think we got Detective Pikachu, I think. And maybe and I think the year before that we got the new Pokemon Sun and Moon show. And maybe Sun and Moon 2. Alright, I forgot. I don't I don't keep up with this stuff that much. Um but yeah, I it's like every time a new Pokemon thing comes out, it reignites my interest for Pokemon
hmm
until eventually I just get tired of it until the next Pokemon thing comes out. Then I get excited for it again.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Okay. My mouth is really dry right now because I've been talking too much.
Uh huh.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah,
it's a
that's
good
the
time
end.
to end it. And we've been talking for
Yeah.
like an hour. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So, all right.
So
Thank
yeah, thanks for
you.
having me on, Bobby.
Yes, thank you for coming on. So yeah, but so for everybody watching, please post your thoughts below. Do you guys like the Detective Pikachu character designs? Do you like Ryan Reynolds acting? For the people watching, do you are you excited for the next Pokemon mainline game? Are you playing Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu? All those thoughts down below. Oh,
Which
please
one
let
is
us know.
better, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu?
Hmm.
Vote now in the comments. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'll probably put that in a poll in this video. So, alright, thanks, Ross, for coming on, and we'll see you guys later. Hey guys, be sure to like this Blood Moon Bobby video if you enjoyed it. Please share this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. Be sure to ring the notification bell to be notified about my latest upload. Follow me on my social media pages at Blood Moon Bobby to find out about what I'll be covering next and for more of my opinions. Thanks for watching.